It was akin to a civil rights reunion or SCLC convention. They convened at Atlanta City Hall to salute civil and human rights activist Reverend Fred Taylor. Reverend Taylor is not a civil rights celebrity. He's better known as an SCLC foot soldier and member of the ground crew.
But he is an individual that has literally been on the front lines of the civil rights movement since the Montgomery bus boycott way back in the 1950s. And as true to the case, there are many people involved in a movement, some so intricately involved in the fabric of that movement that their particular thread sometimes fearfully may go unnoticed. But if you look at the annals of SCLC and look at the documents and the writings, you will find Reverend Fred Taylor's image. You will find his impression and his words woven throughout the history of the civil rights movement, but in particular of SCLC.
I've never considered myself a frontline or drum major kind of a person. I've always played a supportive role with the main characters of the movement. It was not ever my desire to be out front. But a day like today, it makes me ask the question, Lord, why I am. But then the other side of me say, why not somebody would reach back and honor me.
Georgia State Senator Ed Harbison grew up with Reverend Taylor.
His efforts helped all of us get here because he fought the fight while we were in the background doing whatever we did overseas in the war, coming back. But he stayed true to his dedication and his focus, that is, to make us live better. We were there during the bus boycott. His mother, my mother, his grandparents, my grandparents, we were all involved in it. So we sort of cut our teeth in the civil rights movement. So it is something that I wanted to celebrate about him and let everybody know that I think he is a solid gold, the real deal example of what dedication and what the civil rights true soldier is all about. Not about the press, but about the press on fight he's put on.
This is Reverend Taylor's 50th year with SCLC, but at 13 years old, he was passing out leaflets for the Montgomery bus boycott.
When reconciliation failed, negotiations failed, then the people that you would see next would be Reverend Fred Taylor. And they wore what I'm wearing. They wore the red and blue. When they were out in the field, they wore the red and blue because there was a strong possibility they would be going to jail. And the red symbolizes the blood and the water, tears that men and women in the movement will have to give up because life and death was very much imminent in what they had to do as activists.
Jeremy Pons is a 35-year-old SCLC National Board member.
You see a lot of people who have the name recognition, whose names are highly circulated, but these are the folks, when others gave up, they continued, they organized. Even the times that Dr. King couldn't even come in, they were the ones taking the beatings, registering the people to vote, going into the schools.
SCLC President Dr. Charles Steele says Reverend Taylor is a quintessential civil rights activist.
Well, with Fred Taylor, Reverend Fred Taylor, pastor, doctor of the ministry, he earned his right to be at the helm of the civil rights movement. There is no movement without Reverend Fred Taylor. And when he sang the freedom songs, I ain't gonna let nobody turn me around. And I remember we was marching from Selma to Montgomery, and many people were concerned about Reverend Taylor because he began to look ill and couldn't march like he used to. And we said, we're gonna take you to the hospital. He said, not today. Not today. I'm marching. But eventually that night we had to rush him to the hospital. And within a day or so he was back on the march. And that's the way Fred was. It's a calling. It's an anointing. And he deserved the right to be there with the Lowrys, with the Kings, with myself. I'm president, CEO, with whoever has led or been involved with a movement. It wasn't just for the moment. Fred Taylor is a movement.
Fred Taylor is no star. There are no Atlanta streets named after him, but he has been the heartbeat, the soul, and the substance of SCLC. This is an overdue recognition for an unsung civil rights legend, or as one person put it, a trained civil rights gladiator. I'm Maynard Eaton, reporting at Atlanta City Hall.
Ain't gonna let nobody turn me right. Oh, turn me right.